Hello, welcome to Liz Rocks and Stuff. I'm Liz, and this is episode 132 of What's in My Tumbler. We're starting off with Decal, which is the South Dakota Chalcedony. This is in stage 1 still. It has been in stage 1 for quite a while. I don't think it's going to be in stage 1 for too much longer, but it does still have a little bit more work that needs to be done on it. So the first thing we are going to do is get it all rinsed off. You might notice I am back inside. Like I said last week, it's just too cold. I like having my fingers not having frostbite, so we're just gonna probably be inside until springtime comes around. So now that we have rinsed everything off, I'm going to go through and I'm pulling out all of the filler rocks. So the obsidian, not the obsidian, quartz and opal that are in here just as filler for the chalcedony. So that's getting pulled out as I go because I don't care what it looks like. It's pretty much in there to get a little bit more refined, which it's going to do no matter what. So with the chalcedony, I am checking that for being smooth. I'm trying to be extra picky. There are several pieces that I was like, I would probably normally put this into stage 2, but I'm going to keep it in stage 1. A lot of the things that are staying in stage 1, I don't think their flaws are going to tumble out because they are, the way they're shaped, it's just not going to get into those crevices to grind them out. So I will, in all likelihood, move this stuff on into stage 2 next week, just because there's no reason to keep tumbling it if it's not going to tumble out. It is still fairly full, maybe a little on the low side for me, but still within the recommended range for tumbling. So we are just going to put in a tablespoon of borax, 3 tablespoons of stage 1 grit, and move these along. Now, I recently ordered a bunch of grit from the Rock Shed. It's where I like to order my grit from. And I forgot that I need to order like a ton of stage 1 because I go through that a lot faster. So I had to place a new order for stage 1 grit. And this is Salmon Feldspar, by the way. And I think I have lost my mind because whenever I order grit, I also order rocks, because if I'm going to pay for the shipping, because it's always expensive because the stuff is heavy, I'm going to buy rocks too. And I decided that I'm going to give labradorite another try. Now, what I ordered from the Rock Shed is not great quality labradorite. It doesn't have a lot of flash. They were upfront about that in the listing. It's B grade. But I have some that is a little better quality that I tumbled previously that I think I'm going to throw in with it, and we're going to just try it again. It's been a while since I did labradorite, so maybe it's time to try it out. So again, with the Salmon Feldspar, this does have quartz in it as filler as well. I'm again not looking at the quartz, and like I talked about last week, the quartz is harder than the Feldspar, so I'm not going to move the quartz forward past stage 1 with it because I don't want it to damage it later on. For the grinding stage, I'm not as worried about it. I am going to make sure things aren't bruised. From what I can see of what I've pulled out, it's not looking like it's bruised, but I'm just going to make certain of that with all of these pieces before I move them on. And again, I am being pickier than normal. I am trying my hardest to not move things on before they're really ready. I don't like my rocks to be 100% perfectly smooth. I do like them to have a little bit of a natural shape too, which means that sometimes they do have little cracks and things. But that's also partially why I don't get really great results all of the time, is because I'm just not patient enough when I am tumbling. Probably also why I like softer rocks, because they shape up a lot faster than the harder stuff. Now, Feldspar is about a 6.5, I think, whereas the chalcedony is, I think, a 7. And then the Sardonyx, I'd have to look up what Sardonyx is again. I don't remember, but it is also a little bit on the harder side. Whereas things like Howlite, Obsidian, those are all like in the 5s and lower range. So they shape up much faster. But so we are going to pull out, anything that's ready for stage 2. And there was a little bit of room. That's my last piece of quartz. So I don't have any more quartz to use for filler in stage 1. And I'm not going to pull anything else out, I don't think. But So this is going to go tablespoon of borax, 3 tablespoons of stage 1 grit, and 1 more week. Again, I think this is going to be coming out of stage 1 potentially next week. We will have to see. I'm not sure quite yet. All right, Obsidian again, part 2. This is started in stage 2 last week because it had already been through stage 1. There's no reason to put it into stage 1 again. And so we are just going to get it all rinsed off, just like everything else. And then this is going to be going into stage 3 this week. So it only has a couple more weeks before this will be done. And then I'm going to have to try and figure out if I want to start the labradorite I should be getting tomorrow, or I actually have a lot of rocks saved up. I am not in a shortage of rocks right now. And plus I have some that I'm cutting up. I have to get my table saw set back up again, or my rock saw. But anyway, I'd figure out what I'm going to start once this is done, but I have a few weeks before that's going to be ready. But just making sure nothing has chipped or broken in the past cycle. Everything looks good. There's actually not a lot of obsidian in this batch. It's just whatever I have left over. So, like I said, I'm not going to be doing obsidian again for a while. I will probably miss it at some point and want more because I just like it so much. But we're going to put in a tablespoon of ivory soap. So this is going to go into a soap cycle for a while. But first I'm going to throw the nut around a few times before I get it on. And then this will be a soap cycle for just a few hours, not a long time, but just a little bit. And then we're going to rinse it all off again. And then once that's all rinsed off, put it all back in the barrel. So this is a mix of snowflake obsidian and silver sheen obsidian. And I'm not seeing a silver sheen on these pieces yet, but sometimes you just got to wait till it's done for that flash to show up, that sheen. And I need to get some gold sheen. I think that's the only kind I don't. I only have like one piece of gold sheen obsidian, but I have all of the other different types that you can get. Especially now that I got that big batch of rainbow. That was amazing. Anyway, so this is going into stage 3 this week. Next week it'll be 3.5 and then 4. So 2 more weeks and that should be done. And finally, Sardonyx. This is another new batch I started last week. Like I said, I have tumbled Sardonyx before. It has been quite a while. But I do like Sardonyx a lot. I just like how colorful it is. It's all the same stuff, and even within the same rock, we've just got so many colors. And it's interesting that they used to use it because of the different colors to carve, because you could carve into it, and as you carve down, like the colors would change. So you could do like a cameo where the top layer is, you know, white, and you carved down the background and it would be a different color, just because that's how Sardonyx works. And I think that's really interesting, that you have so many colors within just one little piece of rock. So nothing was ready to move on. This is going to take a little bit to have everything shaped up, so I'm just gonna put in a few extra rocks. I do have more to go in still, but I expect that this is gonna take a while to shape. So this is a tablespoon of borax, 3 tablespoons of stage 1 grit, and then this is also ready to go on for another week. So that's my video for this week. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and hope to see you back next week.